What's up, folks? It is Dr. Remy LeBeau, and I am here in the X-Lair with a special video for you comparing the Kotobukiya Colossus statue to the Bowen Designs Colossus statue. It's Piotr versus Piotr in a no-holds-barred comparison that will leave you loving both of them, really, because they're both lovable statues, and how could you not love both of them? But spoiler alert, by the end of this video you're going to wind up liking this one just a little bit more, just because it's a better statue. It's a better statue, don't tell anyone. Alright, so Mr. Kotobukiya here was sculpted by Eric Sosa. As you can see, he's much bigger than Mr. Piotr Rasputin by Bowen Designs, sculpted by Mr. Randy Bowen himself. He's probably got, I don't know, as far as mass goes, maybe twice as much mass, maybe, I don't know, maybe 70% more mass, somewhere in that range, like definitely a lot more mass and a lot more height. He's a lot bigger than Mr. Bowen Piotr. So let's check out when this one was produced. This one was produced in 2011. This is 183 out of 1,000. So there were 1,000 of these made in 2011. Okay. This one, there were 2,500 made, and it was produced in 2004. So that's a difference of 7 years. 7 years apart. So basically this is Piotr Rasputin's big brother. So I like both, like I said, I like both statues. There's a lot to like about both of them. So let's just talk about the paint job first of all. So the paint job on this one, on Bowen one, I think is better than the one on the Colossus produced by Kotobukiya. And that's just because I think in general Bowen Designs tends to have a better production run than Kotobukiya. So as far like the boots, there's a quality and then there's choices of colors, right? So the quality of the paint job is better with the Bowen Design statue. Just the application is better. You can tell that there was more attention paid to putting in details into this statue versus this statue. There's a lot more shading in this one in all the right places throughout the metallic parts of the body. A lot more shading throughout the costume. Whereas with this one, there is some shading. There is shading, and there's shading throughout it. But I just feel like the metallic parts of the Bowen Designs one came off better than the metallic parts of the Kotobukiya. Just because of the attention paid to it. So the choice of the red on the Bowen Designs is better. Also, it's got that deeper blood red look to the various parts of the costume that are red, and I like that better. And also, there's like, I was gonna say there's like a glossy paint choice for the. I guess they both kind of have like a glossy sort of quality to the red. This one actually looks kind of matte, actually, and this one looks maybe slightly glossy, but not really, kind of matte as well. The problem with the red on this one is just kind of a little orangey red. It's not really like a deep red, and I think it could have been deeper, and it would have just made it stand out more. The silver that was used for the metal parts on the Kotobukiya one also is kind of like a little bit of a dulled silver, not sort of like a more powerful silver that kind of gives it like that that extra sort of special metallic quality that the Bowen Designs one has, using more of like a darker silver and like maybe 2 or 3 different shades of whatever it is that they use to shade in like to shadow in some of the crevices on the muscular parts of this statue here. So the belt on this statue is the X belt, and the belt on this statue is like his classic sort of like button, like big button belt buckle, which is nice and sort of like more of a classic design element. I like both belts. I like this belt better just because I like anything that has an X on it. So I like the costume for this version of Colossus better than this version of the costume, simply because of the X element on this one. As far as what they did with it, I like how Eric Sosa made it sort of like a big X, so that's very nice. And on this one, the I don't dislike it on the Bowen one, but you know, just it's a design choice. But as far as what they actually did with the existing design of Colossus in this version of Colossus, which is sort of the original design for Colossus, which he basically had all through, from the point that he was introduced in Giant Size X-Men through the early 80s until he like got his like shirtless period where he just wasn't wearing a shirt. This is like the classic Colossus costume that he was wearing. I love it, and what they did with it looks great. I like the belt on this one better, as I said, just for design reasons. So the yellow part on the costume here, like Bowen Designs made a better choice with the yellow. They kind of made it, I think, glossier and like shaded it in a more sort of dark way that kind of gives it like a contrast. Or maybe that's not it. I think it's maybe just the choice of the yellow. Like this yellow is just kind of dull, and this one's just feels like it's more vibrant. So I feel like the yellow on the Bowen Designs one again is just a better choice. And then the red all along the costume. I mean, there's just so much silver, so much body exposed on this one, and like, it's just bulkier. It's a bulkier statue, and so because the color choices weren't ideal, not bad, but not ideal, it kind of amplifies sort of the adverse effects of it. Whereas with this one, the choices are very nice, and because it's not very bulky, it's not like a huge Colossus piece. It just makes it look really elegant. So, color choices, Bowen Designs wins. Belt, Kotobukiya wins. Okay, the base. Of course, I love the base for the Bowen Designs one because I love the X base. The X base is like the classic X base. It's got a bigger diameter and it's got the red cutouts, which is very nice, and it complements the statue really nicely. Kotobukiya, this is the Danger Room Sessions series, so what they have done is sort of try to, include some like sentinel debris in the base to sort of represent a state in which the character is in the danger room fighting like these, synthesized sentinels. Eric Sosa did a really nice job of creating like the sentinel face and like it getting like it having like kind of like a splattered effect where just Colossus just destroyed it. I think the reason why it's not as impressive as it could be, I think, is the paint job. Like they use kind of like dull colors for the base, so it doesn't really stand out as much as you would want it to. So although the base is more elaborate with the Kotobukiya one, because the colors aren't that great and the paints aren't that great and it doesn't make it pop, the base goes to Colossus. So Bowen Designs Colossus. So again, Bowen Designs Colossus wins in the base category. Now, as far as like the body sculpt goes, I do like the amount of mass that was used for this Colossus statue. This one didn't necessarily need it, but the bigger the better with Colossus, because Colossus is just a strong, powerful character. He represents the muscle of the X-Men. So yeah, maybe the Bowen Designs one could have been a little bit bulkier and bigger, but the fact that it isn't has never been an issue for me. I've never thought to myself, oh, I wish this Colossus was bigger. From the minute I saw it to now, like, I have been in love with it, and I have had very little problems with it. So the size has never been an issue for me. I do like how big this one is and how dynamic it is, and I think Eric Sosa did a really nice job of just sort of creating the musculature and the correct sort of anatomy to represent this like dynamic pose where it's evident that he's on the verge of like of just like you know pummeling more sentinels and just kicking some serious ex-villain butt. So they did a really good job of this. I'm gonna call the body a draw because, like I said, like I don't mind the smaller sort of frame for this statue, and so although I like this, I like the bulkiness of this one. I don't necessarily like it better than this one. So they're both nice sort of choices for how one would want to represent Colossus. And then finally, of course, is the face. And what's interesting about the Kotobukiya one is that we have a switch out head and it's connected by a magnet. It's a very strong magnet, actually. And here you can see there's the face. The other face is more subdued. It's not as sort of like strained. He's got sort of more like a at rest state for his face. And both of them are good, but I don't think they compare to the face on the Bowen design statue. The Bowen design statue face, I think, is great because it's got him sort of in like this intense state where he's obviously pissed off and ready to kick some butt, but he still looks like the handsome Colossus that we all know and love. Like Colossus is like this handsome dude that's got like it's got some issues, but I mean the guy's a ladies' man. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, Bowen Designs has this statue beat as far as like the face. I don't have the other face for Colossus on me because it's buried in my boxes in my box reservoir, so I can't take it out to compare it. But maybe I'll dig up like a stock photo online and maybe like throw it into my post so you guys can check the two out. So as far as the face goes, like Colossus by Bowen Designs wins also. Okay, so I've basically gone through everything. So the boots obviously are different, and that's because they represent different eras for the character. This is like the classic boot for Colossus. I like that it has like a yellow element to it. I really like this design, and I think Bowen Designs did a really nice job on it. So as far as the boots go here, bravo to Bowen Designs. It did a great job. The boots on Eric Sosa's Kotobukiya Colossus, very nice as well. Like bulky, very nicely sculpted. There's like because he's like straining himself in like this pose and like he's in a dynamic sort of state. You can see there's like wrinkles in it, and you can also see like the muscles, the calf muscles are in there. Are protruding out very nicely. Like even though he's wearing a boot, like you can still see, the anatomy element of the foot, of the leg, of the lower part of the leg. And so, but Eric Sosa is very talented. He did a great job. He paid a lot of attention to what he was doing here, and the boots came out really nice on this one as well. As far as the boots go, it's a draw. Both of the boots work well because they both represent different eras for the character design, and I don't necessarily prefer one over the other. Couple other things to mention. This statue here, the Kotobukiya one, is super heavy. Just big and heavy. Like the base is thick and full and not hollow, which is very nice. So that's always cool because you got a big character and you want him to be kind of heavy. It just adds to kind of his presence. The Bowen Designs one, not as heavy, but still heavy. And solid statue and big. Like, so as far as like the stature goes, you can see here, if I put them up together, the Kotobukiya one is definitely taller because the Koto is in a state of sort of bending his legs a bit because he's about to sort of, you know, use his body to pummel some sentinels. So if you were to straighten him out, he'd be like taller, and he'd probably like, you know, be taller than you can see on the frame for the shot. So so I mean, this is a bigger statue, and it's very impressive, and and you know, it's Colossus, you know, in a great representation. I love it. So basically, as far as, you know, just comparing a bunch of elements, like Bowen Designs wins in my book. Other people might have a different opinion of it, but the Bowen Designs statue definitely wins in my book. But that doesn't negate the positive value that the Kotobukiya Colossus has as being just a really great Colossus statue. And really, ultimately, like, they don't need to be compared as far as like one being better than the other. I mean, if you're deciding what to do as far as like getting one of these, you know, it's going to come down to a few things. Like, are you trying to make a particular set display for a particular era? If so, obviously Kotobukiya is going to go more with the Jim Lee era X-Men, and this Colossus statue, the Bowen Designs one, is going to go more with like a classic sort of giant-sized X-Men up till the, you know, mid '80s sort of X-Men group team. If you're looking for just one Colossus statue, and you're just looking just to have a Colossus statue because you like Colossus, he's one of your favorite characters, again, it's going to come down to a few things. It's going to come down to what era you prefer. But if that's not an issue, if you're just looking to get the best Colossus statue, if you go by my recommendation, you would end up getting the Bowen one, because in my opinion, the Bowen one is better. If you're looking to get both, I would get both. If you can get both and looking to get both, and they're just intended to be, you know, parts of your Colossus statue display or Colossus collection because you're a big Colossus fan, get them both. You know, they're both great statues. They complement each other well because they are of different eras, and so it's just, I think it's worth having both of them, really. And that's pretty much it. I don't again, like, there are differences, and I've gone through them. Bowen Designs is the winner as far as comparisons, but in the end, either one will do, for a variety of reasons. And although Kotobukiya is a second, as I've said in the past in other videos, in the individual videos, it is a very close second. All right, Eric Sosa, I love you, man. You did a great job on this. Keep working. Actually, I would love to get this repainted. I'm going to think about doing that in the future. All right, folks. Thank you so much for checking out my colossal comparison video. I have plenty more stuff to come. I'm going to continue doing the individual statues, but I'm going to be doing a lot of these comparison videos as well coming up in the future. Just comparing different statues of the same character. I'm going to be doing whole team videos. I'm going to be doing like couples, like who displays nicely with whom, and those sorts of things. Because I think it's worth it for people to sort of see all the different combinations and permutations that one might choose to put these statues in a variety of contexts. Why not, right? I got some time. I've got a YouTube channel. You seem to like my stuff, so I'm going to keep putting stuff up for you guys. Thank you so much for checking out everything. My blog is X-Men Statues of Future Past.blogspot.com. My YouTube channel is Dr. Remy LeBeau's X-Lair. And as always, X in the box, because ain't nobody checking me. I will see all of you very soon through the camera lens of life. Goodbye.